Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian. And in today's video, well, I'm looking at this. This is Horrors of the Black Museum from 1959. And this was sent to me by Tony. He knows how to pick some great films. Thank you so much, Tony. This is 95 minutes long, just sails by, doesn't seem long at all. And it's 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I always like to mention because it just often shows how out of touch critics are. So never take notice of half of these critics, really. Well, most of them, never mind half of them, blooming heck. This is a joint production between Anglo Amalgamated and American International Pictures. And it is their first in CinemaScope and colour. So that is interesting because it's 1959 and colour is still not used as much at all. Predominantly films were still black and white. There are some colour films, and this is an example of one, but generally it's all black and white. So it is written by Herman Cohen and Aben Kandel, who wrote together I Was a Teenage Werewolf, 1957. I Was a Teenage Frankenstein, 1957. Conga, yes, 1961. Black Zoo, 1963. And the infamous Berserk, 1967. Joan Crawford in that one. And Craze. It's funny how these films pop up so much. Craze, of course, the Jack Palance film. Yes, the writers of that. Now, it's directed by Arthur Crabtree, who had quite a career in directing, going back to 1945 with Madonna of the Seven Moons. And then we've got Caravan, 1946. We've got Dear Murderer, 1947. We've got Quartet, 1948. And Don't Ever Leave Me, 1949. Morning Call, 1957. And Fiend Without a Face, 1958. I love those titles. That's just some of the titles that he directed. Then I think we should get into the cast. Yes. And this film is dominated by some great actors, and the one at the top that really does dominate it is Michael Gough, who plays Edmund Bancroft. Wow. It's the familiar face. We see his face in so many films. It is incredible. And before I go into the films, I'd just like to mention I'm a big Doctor Who fan. And of course, he appeared in Doctor Who. Most famously, I think, as the Celestial Toymaker. The original and best one in 1966. There's only one surviving episode of that. He also appeared in Arc of Infinity, 1983, which was a Fifth Doctor story. So let's look at his wonderful career. It's amazing. This is only just some of the things. It's not everything at all. 1948, Anna Karina. He was in that. Then he was in Man in the White Suit, 1951, which is a brilliant film. Absolutely. Then it was Reach for the Sky, 1956. Again, what a classic British film to be in. And then Horror of Dracula, 1958. Wow, Hammer, brilliant. The first Dracula film produced by Hammer. And then he was in Conga, yes, Conga, 1961. He was in Phantom of the Opera in the lead role in 1962, which was another Hammer film. Fantastic, isn't it? Then he was in Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, 1965, which is the very first Amicus film. You remember that with Peter Cushing there at the beginning and going through all these anthology stories? And there is, of course, I think Christopher Lee as well makes an appearance as well. Then we've got The Skull, 1965. We've got Berserk, again, the infamous Berserk, 1967. We've got Women in Love, 1969. Then we've got The Go-Between, 1971. A Lucy film with the wonderful Julie Christie. What an actress. I love that film. It's a period piece and it is superb. Then the infamous Trog, that film, Trog. And then Henry VIII and his Six Wives, 1972. Venom, but not the Venom you get nowadays with all these superheroes. This was an original one in 1981. Yes. Then we've got The Dresser, 1983. Then we've got Out of Africa, which is 1985 with Meryl Streep there. And The Fourth Protocol. Wow, is it The Fourth Protocol, 1987? Cold War thriller. What more can you say? Then, his later career, suddenly, he's well known for this role. He was in Batman, 1989. He was in Batman Returns, 1992. He was in Batman Forever, 1995. And he was in the very last infamous one there, Batman and Robin from 1997. Oh, yes, there he is. Brilliantly playing Alfred. Fantastic actor. Really is. Then we've got June Cunningham, who plays Joan Berkeley. She was in Three on a Spree, 1961, and The Small World of Sammy Lee, 1963, which was probably her most famous film. But really, she's a big TV series actress and TV films. Then we've got Graham Curnow, who plays Rick. He's the assistant. He was in Three Men in a Boat. She Always Gets Their Man, 1962, all these titles. Again, lots of TV series and TV films. Then we have Shirley Ann Field, who plays Angela Banks. She was in The Flesh is Weak, at least 1957. Once More with the Feeling, 1960. And of course, Peeping Tom. How many times does this pop up? 1960. Peeping Tom. Brilliant. Came out before Psycho. Yes, it's that influential film that got sort of swept under the carpet, as you might say, for a long time. And we have Scorsese, I think, really to thank for championing that film. And then now everybody's talking about it. Then we have another classic British film, The Entertainer, from 1960. And again, this is great. Saturday night, Sunday morning, 1960. She's in that. Then another film I have talked about and really love. It's a Hammer film, but not of the gothic horror type. It's The Damned from 1967, which starts off as a biker movie and then goes into a sci-fi movie. It is superb. Oliver Reed, you can't help but love Oliver Reed. I know I'll go over these films. And then Alfie. Wow, Alfie, what a film, 1966, Michael Caine, brilliant performance. And then you look, and again, there's loads of TV series and TV films. Wow, amazing. And then I've got to mention this last actor, is Jeffrey Keane, who plays the policeman, Superintendent Graham. Such a familiar face. You just recognise him. He was in Treasure Island, 1950. He was in Guinevere, 1953. He was in Doctor in the House, 1954. He was in Doctor at Sea, 1955. He was in the classic wartime film Sink the Bismarck, 1960. He was in The Angry Silence. 1960. What a film that Angry Silence is. Then he was in Heroes of Telemark, which is 1961. He was in Dr. Zhivago. Yeah, Dr. Zhivago. Wow. Who can believe that? Dr. Zhivago. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Then we have got Berserk. Berserk, wait, it's uncanny, isn't it? Where a film just keeps popping up. 1967, we mentioned them before. And then he was in perhaps one of my favourite of the Christopher Lee Dracula films. He was in Taste the Blood of Dracula. He was one of those the blokes who go out and have their entertainment. The Victorian, it's set in Victorian times, showing the hypocrisy of all these bored men, going out for their entertainment. Great film, absolutely superb. And then, of course, he's in Cromwell. Cromwell, 1970, he's in that. And then Doomwatch, which I reviewed not that long ago, in 1972. Fantastic. What a familiar face he is when you see him. What a great actor, and absolutely love it. When you get these people like him who are in so many roles and recognisable faces and probably don't really get a lot of great recognition, but I'm giving them that recognition. If you're a film fan, you recognise them. Give them recognition they deserve. Anyhow, you say, bye, Ian. What you going on about? Do you know something? I'm such a fool. Jeffrey Keane. How could I forget? Of course, James Bond. There's me going on about these other films, but James Bond, he is in The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977, Moonraker, 1979, For Your Eyes Only, 1981, Octopussy, 1983, A View to Kill, 1985, and The Living Daylights, 1987. How could I forget? Oh, he had a role in that as a god. Oh, dear me. Anyhow, there we are. We'll let you sing. Get on with it, lad. Well, this film, it's about Edmund Bancroft. Now, he's a crime mystery writer, and he has his own private black museum. And this is perhaps the key to what he's really like. He's desperate for accuracy in his mystery murders as a writer. And this compels him to hypnotize his assistant. And then he commits horrific murders. Now you're saying, just hypnotizing him, surely, what's going on here? But he injects them, and this drug, if you want to call it a drug or whatever, it transforms them. It's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Suddenly this person becomes this hideous person, his face all distorted, and he commits murders, and he has to do what basically told and into doing. And that's the story, and it's wonderful. He's like, I just think that the horror of it is not in the supernatural, as this I'd say, with a lot of Hammer films were, but it was in this kind of other area, and the transformation with like science and drugs. Fascinating, and the hypnosis. Obviously, the hypnosis has always been a big thing in terms of what it can be used for good or for evil. And here you're seeing hypnosis used for evil and the control and power. And it's a wonderful take of it, that transformation bit as well. I love that idea. And it's great. It works so well. This film is an absolute joy to watch. You just mesmerised by it, and mesmerised is a hypnotic term as well. Yes, but it is. It just goes by so quickly. This film, I loved it, and Michael Gough is just superb. And as I say, the whole cast is brilliant. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely, you can't help but not like a film like this. It just has everything. It's of that era, and it works well. It gets on with it. No messing about. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. It knows exactly what this film is doing. The director obviously has got the script, and he's got to get this out on budget as well. You've got the budget aspects to it. You've got to get it done, and they do it. And this is what I love about these films from this era, when they were able to do that and get these films out. They didn't have the Hollywood budgets. No. They had to just get on and do it. And this is great. And of course, this is what Hammer, their model, became. They were exactly the same. They knew what they were doing and produced these wonderful films, all on a budget, relatively, away from Hollywood. Fantastic. I highly recommend this film. It's a great British film, I think, even though it's a joint Anglo-American production. It's still it's wonderful for the era. Anyway, I'm going on too much because I just loved it. I absolutely had a ball with this film. And here it is. Look at that. Wonderful, wonderful film. There's the back. Absolutely adored it. There is on here a little set of extras, and one of the extras has this bloke supposedly going on about hypnosis and trying to hypnotize you when you're watching it. Apparently, it was at one time put on at the beginning of the film, but I think they dropped that. But it's a nice little extra here. I think it goes for about 12 minutes or so. It's just amazing watching it because it's quite funny in a way. But this dead serious, trying to show about hypnosis and suggestion. Great. Anyway, I've gone on far too long. So, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and we'll let you know when I put out these videos. And have a look in the playlist. You can see all the other things that I do. All the films. I do all sorts of films. Also TV series and music, and a bit of music as well. So have a look in playlists. You might find something you enjoy. So if you like this video, if you really do like the video, please give it a like. If you give it a like, it gets out to YouTube and algorithms and all that stuff. And if you've got any comments, please, I love to read your comments. Put your comments down, and I'll always reply to them. And that's it. I've gone on too long, so all I'm going to say is, I'll see thee again.